Hey there, Stampers. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. And welcome to the first day of my 12 Days of Christmas series that I'm doing. So every day for the next 12 days, so the first 12 days of December, I will be doing a Christmas themed project. It may be a card, it may be gift tags or gift packaging, possibly a scrapbook page, maybe a 3D project, so a little bit of everything. So today we're going to start with this project, or a version of this project. So I had something in mind in my head, and this didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to do, how I imagined it to be. So we're going to make a slight adjustment, and I'm hoping that it's going to work. And you'll see that as we go along here. Okay, so it's a simple card, but we are going to step this up just a little bit and try something just slightly different. Now, the products that we're using today, we're using the Christmas Countdown stamp set. So this is a stamp set that I purchased to go with the Christmas Countdown project kit, which is in the holiday catalog. And you'll want to make sure that you come back and visit tomorrow, because if you purchase that kit and you have lots of leftover pieces, you'll want to see what I created with those leftover pieces. And if you did not get that kit, that's not a problem. There's some great tips and ideas on using leftover pieces from kits in that video, okay? And then we are also using the Word Wishes stamps or dies and the A Wish for Everything stamp set. So this is available as a bundle in the annual catalog, and you can save 10% by purchasing it as a bundle. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 3 3/4 inch by 5 inch piece of Whisper white cardstock and just add some scrap paper underneath it, my old olive ink, because this is kind of a monochromatic card with just that pop of red in the cardinal. And I'm going to take this beautiful image out of the stamp set, the Christmas Countdown stamp set, and I'm just going to start stamping all the way around. And I'm going to change the direction. I'm not thinking too much. I'm just stamping, trying to get mostly the pine boughs. Just kind of stamping all the way around. Okay, let's fill this in a little bit there, a little bit more there. Okay, that looks good. Now I've got a piece for the inside, and I want to replicate that look in the inside. This piece is a little bit bigger. This measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm basically going to do the exact same thing. This creates such a beautiful border. And then what I'm going to do once I'm done is I'm going to take a sponge and sponge around the edges. So I've got just a green sponge, and I'm just going to dip it in, and that just softens the look just a little bit and also fills in a little bit of that white space with a little bit more green. So I'm going to do that for both the outside piece and then the inside piece as well. I love the look of sponging. I really should do it more often. Okay, so we are done with the green. We can move that out of the way. Let's get rid of this scrap paper as well. So this inside piece, we're just going to finish with this piece now. I have got the greeting from that A Wish for Everything stamp set. It says, "A merry little wish for lots of joy this season." So I am going to ink that up with Memento and just stamp it in the middle of my white cardstock. Okay, and then I'll pull in my card base. This is a piece of Mossy Meadow that measures 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, and we will just add this to the inside so that we can get it out of the way. So this will give you just a little bit of a green border all the way around the edges. Isn't that pretty? And it was so simple. Okay, so now let's go back to, okay, so this is a mat. So this is Old Olive. It measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I'm just going to add this piece to that. And we might as well add this to the card front. So this will just give us a really, really thin border. I really like having the sizes of borders a little bit different. So if I had cut this 3 3/4 by 5, and then I cut the next layer, the green layer, if I had cut that 4 by 5 1/4, and then my card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, then all of the mats are all even. And that's fine, but I like the look of having it switched up. So sometimes I'll add just a 1/16 of an inch border all the way around rather than an 1/8 of an inch border. Okay, so we're gonna pop this up using dimensionals and set that in there. So can you see how that's got a little thinner of a green border, the lighter green, and then the darker green is just a little bit thicker. Okay, so now what I've gone ahead and I've done is I've taken the word wishes, I've taken the word Merry and the word Christmas, and I've gone ahead and I've cut it out using my Big Shot. And then I stuck them on this scrap paper and used a piece of washi tape to hold them in place. Because what I want to do, if you look at this card, I used Tombow glue and just added glue to the top half of each of the 2 words. And then I sprinkled them with our, it's called Ice Glitter, I think it's called, from the holiday catalog. But it's not quite what I was looking for. I want something to pop a little bit more than that. So what I'm going to try to do for this one is I'm going to take my Versamark ink and just ink up the top part of these words. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. I'm hoping that the washi tape won't tear my words when I'm done. That's my biggest concern. Okay, so I've got Versamark on the top half of the letters, and then I'm going to sprinkle, let's bring this coffee filter. This is gold embossing powder. So I'm going to sprinkle that on top, and then we'll dump off this excess, and I'll flick it. Dump that back in so we don't make a big mess. And then I'm going to bring in my heat gun. Now my heat gun just barely reaches, so I apologize if you can't fully see what's going on, but I'm going to heat set that. Okay, looks like I just missed a couple little spots here. So just the top of my M and the top of my T. So I'm just gonna add just a little bit more and then heat that up again. Ooh. Doesn't really matter how careful you are, you always get powder all over the place. Okay, I think that's good. Let's just give this a wipe here. Okay, so now I'm going to carefully peel off this washi tape. Oh, look at that. I think I'm gonna love this. This is the look that I was going for. It just wasn't, it didn't pop. with the ice glitter. Oh, be careful not to tear your Y, Sherry. There we go. Look at that. That is sharp. I love that. Okay, so I am just going to pop out. There's some bits here. We don't need that. And there's some bits on the S. Okay, so now I'll bring back my card base, make sure I have it going the right way. And I'm going to add just a little bit of adhesive. We're going to start with the Christmas. Add a little bit of Tombow. Just to some of the wider parts of the word. Just like that, and position it right here. Yeah, I much prefer this look. The other one looks good. It's just not as noticeable. If you wanted a more subtle look, that would definitely be the way to go. But I really wanted it to pop. Okay, and then I'm gonna put the Mary. The Mary actually fits quite nicely right. So that the M is right before the C and then the tail of the Y. There we go. All right. Now, what we want to do is, I have a scrap of white and I need my Memento ink. So I'm using this image. I really just want the bird. So I'm just going to ink up the bird. Let's pull in the scrap just in case I don't want to stamp on my mat. There we go. And then I'm going to use my blends and color in the bird. So I'm going to use dark pumpkin pie and color in its beak. And then light and dark real red. So I'll color in the whole cardinal with light because I prefer to start with light and then add some shading with the dark, but there is no right or wrong way to do it. You can definitely start with black. I know I have several customers that prefer to start with dark and then add the light. So I encourage you, if you're new to alcohol markers, just play around with them and find what works for you. So I'll add just a bit of shadows or shading kind of where it's darker, where his wing is, and then I'll go back in and just smooth that out and fill in some of these white spots. There we go. So now it's all colored in, and then I've actually got one that's already cut out, and I'm going to use a little dimensional to stick him on. And he's just gonna perch right on top of that S, just like that. All right, there we go. So what do you guys think? Which one do you like better? I think they're both good in different ways. I really like the look of that. Can you see the contrast between the green and the gold? Oh, I love it. So I'd love to hear which one you prefer. Comment below with whether you like the ice glitter, I'm not sure if that's what it's called, I'm just calling it that, or the gold embossing. I'd love to hear. All right, so I will include in the link below all of the supplies that I used today for both of these cards, and they will be clickable links. So if you are in Canada and there's something that you would like to order, you can click on any one of those items and it will take you to my online store, or you can visit my blog at stampedtreasures.com, and up at the top there is a shop now button. All right, so thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll be back tomorrow to see what I create then. All right, take care.